This is Danelle Stevens, and I'm going to do a screencast on Zotero, which is a citation management system. I'm calling it Zotero3 because I have a Zotero 1, which is how to download Zotero. Zotero 2, which is what is the landscape of Zotero look like. And this one is going to talk more about how do you get files into your Zotero citation management system. I have Zotero on my dock. It's a big Z, and it comes from my application folder, and I dragged it over there, and so I can quickly and easily open this up. This is my library. This means these are all the references that I have in my library. 1019 items in this view. Some of them look like they're duplicates, which I have to get rid of, you can see, but most of them are good. And I'll show you about duplicates later and how to do that. It's pretty simple. Anyway, so these are the references, and each one of these, remember, these are the file folders. So that's academic writing. This is on reflection. I'm closing these up because they're subfiles within each of those larger themes. When there's an arrow, that means there's subfiles. Now, the middle bar shows you the author, the year, the title, and the publication and the notes. I talked about that in Zotero 2, and also how to set up this page. These boxes up here are movable. You can move them around. See, I just did. So set it up. I tried to set it up sort of like American Psychological Association, with the author or creator, the year, the title, the publication. And of course, I told you I have the date added, which is helpful in some cases. You can modify the width of these, as you can see. I don't know why I don't need all those minutes there, so I figured I need probably a little more room on my titles. So I'll push that over so that I can see more of the title itself. And then over here, this is the metadata for this one article called the metadata under info, and I explained that in the last one. But the question is, how do you get these documents into this file system? One way is through your library. And if you have downloaded the Zotero connector, what will happen is that you will be able to directly put the reference into Zotero once you find it in the library. So let me show you how that works. So this, I'm going to click here, I'm going to PSU, and then I'm going to my PSU, Portland State. Then I'll go over here to the library, and library again, and then I'll go to databases and articles, and I usually use EBSCOhost, although if you're in the humanities, you probably use JSTOR. In the sciences, you probably use some other. But this is EBSCOhost, has quite a few databases in it. So now today we have this authentication issue. I don't have my phone. I'm going to have to stop. Okay, so at Portland State we have dual certification, so I have to have my phone right next to me to tell them that, or dual, anyway, prove that I can get in. All right, so I can get in. So I'm going to select Academic Search Premier, and there's a bunch of different databases within this. If you go down that first row, I mean, if you just read if you do it from that original page, there's lots of text. So I usually do Academic Search Premier, and then I add others with this list rather than going through the long, all of the, and usually I do psychological behavior, professional development, research starters. Those are kind of the ones so there's sociology one in here somewhere. Oh, Sociindex. Okay, so I say, okay. So I'm going to say academic writing, and then I'm going to say faculty development. Okay, and search. So whatever your keywords are, you will end up with something like this. I want to find one that says it has a PDF full text. So this one is full text. It's just faster that way. I can do the others as well. But what? So it's going to pull up the full text. Great. What I want you to notice is this little guy up here. This, when you have the connector and you open up something, you see the PDF. If you have that little thing that looks like a piece of paper with writing on it, you can see it says save to Zotero. The Zotero needs to be open. I'm going to click that, and it's going to save to my library, and it's open access PDF. I also could put it somewhere else besides, well, if it goes into academic writing, it'll always go into my library, but let's put it into academic writing because that's more it's a theme that it would belong in there. And so that's good. So then it will go into academic writing. So let's see what happens. Let's go back to Zotero. Who's the author? McLean and Price. Okay. So if you go back to Zotero, there is the article in your database. And you can see it was put in May 24th, 2020. You have all the metadata, and you have the PDF. This shows that it's a PDF. And you have, this is all filled in, looks great. Dates, page numbers, issue, volume, title of the journal, etc., and an abstract. So good to go, easy way to go. And that's because I have the connector, the Zotero connector. And that little thing that looks like a piece of paper is also the Zotero connector. So what's another way you can get things into Zotero? So this way I'm going to start with something that I do regularly, is I have a file, it's just called PDFs. And when I come across something and somebody sends it to me, and it's not necessarily in Zotero yet, I want to keep it around or keep, I just put it in this file called PDFs. Or if I have somebody writing a paper and someone sends me a PDF on my email, I put it in this file. So let's take one of these. Austin Doctoral Student Socialization. Okay. And that is a PDF. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it over here. Let's see. Let's open, first of all, let's open Doctoral Student Writing. Now we'll go back to my hard drive, to PDFs. And this one was, let's do McAlpine on supervision, okay? So I'm just going to drag it over here somewhere, make sure it's aligned like that so it's not tucked into another folder. And what happened to it? Oh, guess what? It also had all the metadata. Wonderful. So there you go. And it looks like it was one that wasn't in here. So that's great. And obviously it was someplace else. So that's two ways to get documents into Zotero. One, if it's on your desktop, it's in a file somewhere. And the other is from the library. So once you get them in here, then you have the metadata. You can read the abstract, and I'll do that in the next round. What you may notice in here, though, is that there's a bunch of these down here. And these are also PDFs. You can see that. What's happened to these, though, if I want, it looks like they don't have, yeah, this looks like it's from a magazine. It was probably from the library, interlibrary loan. And so, and if I want to find, sometimes you'll get them in this way. So then you go retrieve metadata. Aha, maybe it has metadata. And if you get a red X, that means it doesn't have metadata. Nobody's put in the metadata. And therefore, you have to do that. You have to put your own metadata in. And so you're going to go up here to this green circle with the plus on it and say it's a journal article. Okay. And then you will fill in, you'll look at it, open it, and fill in all of the data over here, the metadata, so that you can use it. And so it's part of your the references that you use. It may be that some of these, I think a lot of these are those kind. And I haven't needed them or wanted them, so I haven't. Let's see what this one. Maybe this one has metadata. I'm going to go back because it looks fairly new. Oh, it's 18. I don't know. Let's retrieve metadata for PDF. Oh, looks like we do have metadata for that. So that's what happens when they do have the metadata. But when they don't, you're going to have to put it in if you find that reference is valuable. It will end up on the bottom of your list. Okay, so that's Zotero 3, how to get documents into Zotero.